one thing I always respect about fighters is the amount of preparation that goes in before a fight. And I don't think a lot of people actually know that you took this fight with just 4 days notice, obviously, because Alan Patrick withdrew.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks prior to that, you actually won the FAC Featherweight title.
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
crazy, man.
Talk to me about those 2 weeks and just let me know all the details because it just sounds crazy.
Man, so yeah, that FAC fight, that was my it was my eighth pro fight, and it was for a title. And my managers and coaches, they told me, man, this might be your last local fight in Kansas City, for a title. And they asked me if I wanted to take that or if I wanted to wait for like a UFC opportunity. You know what I mean? And I told them, man, I'll do one more in Kansas City, one more local show for a title, and show up for the fans one more time. So yeah, I took that fight. Obviously won, and called out the UFC like, hey, I'm next up. I'm your guy. If you're looking for excitement, call me. And then everything and they called me a week later. I get the call on a vacation. I was out in Alabama when I got the call. It was like 4 a.m. My phone was blowing up. I thought I was dreaming. Yeah, 4 a.m. I'm like, dude, who wants to talk right now? It's 4 o'clock in the morning. So something told me, man, just wake up and pick the phone up because the phone keep ringing. You know what I mean? Because nobody used to call me that time. So I'm thinking, it got to be a good news, So I pick up, man, and it was like at least 8 missed calls from my manager, my sport agency, coaches, friends, like, yo, you know what I mean? So I pick up, and it was my coach, James Krause. He's like, hey, you might have a UFC fight this weekend in Vegas. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, am I dreaming? He's like, nah, man, wake up. This is real. You might have a fight this weekend in Vegas. So I'm like, man, let's go. I didn't even ask him who it was. I just wanted to, get to Vegas as soon as possible, So he's like, man, pack up, fly to Vegas as soon as possible. So I flew from Alabama to Vegas, and it was like 3-hour flight. Got there and started doing my medicals, paperwork, eye exam, and everything. So from there, man, everything just became true, man. It was probably one of the hardest weeks I ever been through, man. 4 days notice, just going through all that, the media, you know what I mean? Physicals, doctors, drug tests, USADA, family calling you, friends, you know what I mean? And, the whole media was just blown up, man. I was going through a lot, man, but that's probably one of the hardest things I've been through. But I'm glad I've been through that, you know what I mean? Just to see how things is. And it's a good experience for me,
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was short notice, it's just the opportunity we needed, and we had to take it now. If I didn't take that fight, what would I be now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad I took that.
Obviously, we know that the UFC, is the big leagues. Was there a massive difference that you saw from the FAC compared to the UFC as soon as you started to build up towards the fight?
And honestly, man, there's really no difference, man. It just, if anything, different cage, different fans, different gloves. You know what I mean? It's just a different. I look at it as a different organization. You know what I mean? Nothing really changed for me, man. So it's just a different. I look at it as a different organization. Nothing really changed. Still got the same feeling, Yeah, so yeah, nothing. I knew I belonged there. That's why I didn't really. It still haven't hit me yet to this day. You know what I mean? At all, because I know, I belong there. So.
True.
Yeah, man. I just the only thing I need to do is just get back to winning. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that's different. I need to get back to the winning board. So,
at any point after the fight, was there a point where maybe you felt like you took the fight too early? Because I know you said it was a great opportunity for you, and because the way I'm thinking, the amount of preparation that usually goes into a fight, you obviously wouldn't have been able to have that with 4 days notice. You know, was there at any point you just felt like maybe you took your debut too early?
No, I feel like I took it at the right time because I have the best, you know, coaches and managers in the world, and they knew that fight was the fight that I needed, and it was right. You know what I mean? It was a great opportunity. You know, I mean, I feel like it was a good it's a good matchup. You know what I mean? With both strikers. Well, I was surprised he started wrestling me. That's the only thing that I didn't really see him doing. I was very surprised when he started wrestling me because I thought he was a straight striker, and I thought the fight was going to stand up. So, you know, I was okay with that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I'm like, and then he started, you know, his wrestling system. You know, he did what he had to do. So, you know, hats off to him and his team. You know, he came out and he showed out. So can't be mad at that, man. You know, you win some, you lose some. You know, life just goes on, man. You got to keep your head up. So.
Do you think that's what went wrong, you know, with the wrestling catching you off guard? Because one thing I realized in the fight was that there was quite a few opportunities where you could have possibly won. You were hitting him with some heavy blows, you know, some heavy jabs. But do you think it was the wrestling that caught you off guard, and maybe, you know, that's the reason why you know he picked up the win?
Yeah, I think if anything, it's probably his wrestling and his control time, because he was a decent grappler, you know. He knew what he was doing. Like I said, I can't be mad at him. He did what he had to do, and he came out and he figured out my game plan, which was take me down and keep control. You know, I mean, I wish I had if anything, I wish I had more time to kind of watch more of his films and knew what his game was a little bit more. But, you know, 4-day notice, man, with a beautiful opportunity, great opportunity, I can't even decline, you know. So.
Sure.
I'm glad I took it. You know, now now we're signed to the UFC. You know, 3 fights contract. Now we're on. So it's only the beginning. You know, this is where we stay up now. So
sure, man, definitely. I noticed after the second round that you got a bit frustrated because it seemed like Jones was standing over you, and you got a bit frustrated. Explain to me what happened there, man.
All right, so. At that moment, he was saying I was grabbing his gloves. he was like, hey, ref. He's grabbing my gloves. And I'm like, I'm not grabbing your gloves, bro. What are you talking about? And then he's like, nah, mate. He's like, nah, mate, you're grabbing my gloves. He's like, you a cheater or cheating. He said I was cheating or like a cheating bastard. And I'm like, I'm not cheating. So I'm like, I just started handing him from the back. I was talking to him, like, I'm not no cheater. I started handing him from there. And that's when he walked over me, you know. Then I got up out of him like, man, what's up? You know, and stuff like that. But it's all, man. It's all love, you know. It's just what fighters do, man, you know. Just trying to put on the show for the fans. I love it, man. It was nothing but respect, you know.
Yeah.
I did not grab his glove.
Just to confirm.
If Jones is watching this, I didn't grab your gloves.
Just to confirm,
maybe
nice
I
did. We'll have to look back. We'll have to look back and we'll have to find out. I'm going to look closely.
We're going to have to.
But, you know, I was listening closely to the commentary, and obviously Brendan Fitzgerald was on commentary that night, and he was saying during the third round that he was very impressed with obviously your performance, you know, your first time in the octagon, short notice. And one thing he said was that if you went back down to your natural weight, you know, your natural weight class, which is a featherweight, that maybe, you know, you could have had a more dominant debut. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, man, he's 100% right, you know. He's right, you know. Everybody's right. The whole commentators. I feel like I'm going to be a problem for the featherweight division in UFC. And, you know, I've been a problem before the UFC on my, featherweight, like local shows. I've always been a problem to the 145 division. I feel like UFC is going to be the same. I'm going to be a problem. You know, I put a lot of 145ers on notice, you know, and I feel like that's going to be my, my biggest game is taking over the 145 division, you know, with everybody on notice. So, like, hey, that fight, I took that fight for just an opportunity. So everybody out there watching, man, don't let that fight confuse you, because I can wrestle. You know what I mean?
Like that.
It's just hard when somebody's holding you down and you're trying to, work your way up 9 minutes straight, you know. So whoever's watching that fight, don't get confused. I can grapple, you know. Do not get confused.
Let them know, man. Let them know.
Man, for real.
Obviously, is that something you're looking to do then? Are you looking to go back into the featherweight division and compete in that weight class?
Yeah, that's the plan. Is going down to 145 and staying there for a very long time. You know, until we get a championship. You know, that's where I'm good at. You know, I'm fast. I'm a big 145er. I'm very strong. You know, good boxing. You know what I mean? Decent wrestling. You know, I'm all rounded, man. I feel good at 45. You know, like I said, man, I'm gonna be a problem. I put a lot of people on notice. I put the whole world on notice. You know, so this is the beginning, man. From here, man, we're gonna take over. So
yeah. Obviously, when we look at some of the names in the featherweight division, you know, we're talking Volkanovski, Max Holloway, Brian Ortega. You know, do you think you can go toe to toe with some of these guys?
Oh, for sure, 100%, 100%, man. It don't matter how good you are, man. This is MMA, man. You never know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I can compete with a lot of these fighters. You know what I mean? So you know, nothing changes, man. I can compete with these guys. You know,